honestly can't remember where I was going to go. There was a tangent that took me off course, and I forgot what I was going to talk about. But it's terribly important, but I forgot it now. So this part 4 is going to be basically a wrap up. I'm sure I'm going to talk about more in future episodes when I remember stuff. But so it's like 4.5, whatever. This thing just bit me in the ankle. Part 4 is going to be talking about cleaning this room up. So that's going to be my focus in the next couple months, because I'm not doing anything until November. Sandy and I had a serious chat. We had a very serious chat. We started kind of ruminating, pontificating about this earlier. I am not sick. I am not tired. I am not at all unhappy about setting the layout. I can't even speak. I'm so tired. I'm not at all unhappy for setting the layout up at all these shows. I love seeing the layout together. I really, really do. There has never been conveyed to me directly, oh, Dave's got the space layout here again. Every single time it comes up, people go, I can't stop wanting to see this layout. People have come up to me, fans, and my fellow people, what's that say? Doesn't matter. From Toro Lug and other lugs and other events that say, we love every single time you set up your layout. So nobody's ever once said, oh, I can't believe, again, I mentioned before that there are certain shows that will not want repetitive displays of the same thing. Brick World Chicago, I was told that you cannot, but Brick World Chicago's never seen my layout like as it is now. And I don't go to Brick World all the time, so it doesn't matter. But you cannot, I believe some Lego conventions will not allow you to bring something twice. And that's perfectly acceptable too. That's why they want to run it. And I'm not faulting. I think that's a good idea, because then you know, especially when you have limited floor space. But so far, Brick Fete and Bricks in the 6, and now Brickomanie, I've set up the layout multiple times. And it does change, but my issue, and again, I'm perfectly healthy. Nobody worry about stuff. Everything's perfectly fine. But I am 58 and going to be older soon. And so it comes down to how much effort it is to set up the layout. Because it is effort. It's a lot of effort. It's not a huge amount of effort. And but it is, the boxes are not getting lighter. I do have a plan to make the boxes lighter, but it's a lot of effort to get the layout to and from a show. Setting up is fun. Just setting up is fine. It's the moving of the boxes and getting them to the right spot. I'm feeling it right now that I should exercise more, to be said. So we're not going to retire the layout. I'm not taking apart the layout, so don't worry about that. The layout is still in boxes in the garage, exactly as I left them, and then they'll come out in November for Bricks in the 6. I did promise that it would be a Bricks in the 6. It's going to be a Bricks in the 6. And I'm not saying that will be the last time it's set up. I have said that the proviso of this conversation is if it's a special, quote-unquote, special occasion. And the special occasion is meaning anything. I said, because I do want to get to Brick Fair, Virginia, because a lot of people that are involved in Brick Fair, Virginia were at the very first Brick Fest, and they're all my friends from LugNet from years ago. Like, I adore these people. I adore all the people in the community, but Suze and Todd and Dave Eaton, and all those people that I got to meet, Larry, all those people that I got to hang out with virtually online and meet at Brickfest 2004, and meet in other places. I want to do a show with them again, and I just haven't had a chance because of my life. And so Brick Fair would be one of those, and I subscribed to the list years ago, and I've been meaning to get down there. My issue right now today is that it's not going to happen for the next 3.5 years at all. I will not, unless I absolutely have to, mandated by my job or something else, I will not cross that border, period. I'm not going to go into it. I'm going to keep my blood pressure down. I'm avoiding Maine too, by the way. the governor. I'm not going to go into it. You have no idea how much you pay. I'm not going to go into it. Stop. But anyway, to be said, I am not going to cross that border willingly in the next 3.5 years at all. For clearly obvious reasons that we don't have to dwell on right now. So that's going to put me at 62, 63 years old before I get around to being able to go down to see my friends, which sucks because I'm at the point now where Brick Fair was going to be on my radar to get to, because everything else is stabilized. Work is very busy, but I got 5 weeks of vacation. It was absolutely outstanding. I had talked about it ad nauseum because she saw my pictures from Brick Fest 2004. We did the Capitol, we did the Washington Monument, we did all that stuff. We want to do this. We went to Chicago back in 2010. We want to go traveling, Sandy and I, and to combine it with a Lego convention. Are you kidding? This was the perfect time for us to go to Brick Fair, Virginia, over the next couple of years, easing into retirement. I was so looking forward to this. It was literally on my top of my list of things to do in my semi-retirement as I get there. Because I got to use up all my vacation days. And I was like, oh, good, I'm going to start. And then again, Zen. So 3.5 years, not going to cross the border at all, unless I have to. So there goes Brick Fair until I'm 63. And also my friends down there in Atlanta, in Georgia, Chris and Mark and Dana and all. I'm not going. I refuse to go. That's me, and if you hate it, I'm sorry, but that's not going to happen. And I wanted to bring the layout down there. So if and when I get down there, the layout's coming with me. I'll say that. But I think after Bricks in the Six this year, the layout is going to stay in boxes in the garage. Again, with the proviso that if the Brick Shack or some other store and or whatever display that I feel comfortable with wants to leave it up for months at a time, I don't have a problem with that, because then it's months at a time. I set it up once and I don't have to think about it, and I take it down later. One of my favorite experiences, and I've mentioned this before, literally ever, was leaving that layout at Janie's store for 6 months. It was awesome. And I did it more than once. I think the other ones were like 3 or 4 months. It was, leave it up. I don't need it here. I don't need the parts. I don't need to look at it. I just leave it up, and knowing that somebody out there is loving to see it. Sitting in boxes does nothing for anybody. Like, literally does nothing for anybody. It sits in boxes in my garage. Having it set up, just in the back of my head, somebody, and it's not for my own ego. I want to bring happiness to people. I've always wanted to bring that, and I can't bring happiness. You know, I'm not a clown, I'm not an actor, I'm not a musician. But if I can do something that instills some sort of happiness in somebody else, that makes me happy. It's called empathy and joy of other people's happiness. And right now I've noticed this, like even at this weekend show, the amount of joy, and maybe this is what I was going to talk about, the conversations I had with the public. We talked about the fans. The fans are beautiful, but the amount of even with the language barrier, I could see there was more than once in this show, probably a half a dozen times, there was people my age and older that stopped for many minutes to look at the layout and talk with whoever they're with about the sets that they had when they were kids and the joy that they had when they were kids. Like, I would say, like, there's a lot of nostalgia factor in my layout. At this show, there was not, besides the wall of minifigs, there was not a lot of nostalgia factor like Pirates and Castle, besides Jeff's Castle. But even Jeff's Castle is a mock. I mean, he has some things that are from the old Castle series. But my whole layout is an homage, a direct homage, a purposely direct homage to 1978 to 1981 classic space, period. Every set that came out between 1978 and 1981 is totally or partially represented in the layout. That's the whole purpose of the layout. It's not just a mock of classic space. every set is represented in that thing, and people come there and they say, I had that set. I did this with, I had adventures. I had my friends come over. We had building parties, whatever. I had so many stories with people who saw one or more of those sets. I got that for Christmas. My mom and dad gave it to me, blah, blah, blah. I went off to college, whatever. The stories always continue. And it brings them such joy and happiness to see their stuff as their childhood that they had, the specific actual set. And they say, oh my goodness. And some like me, I get a little misty. They get a little misty. They talk about their older brother that passed away. That we used to play with these space games with these sets. I got that for Christmas, and then this that, and my brother and I, and blah blah. And he sadly passed away 7 years ago, or whatever it is. Like the stories I get from people. Not just say it's a wonderful mock, because again it's also appreciated, but the nostalgia factor of them going back to their youth. And a lot of stories are, oh, my parents gave it to somebody else when I went off to college. So I get that a lot. But I do get, oh, my mom or my dad passed away, and I inherited, for the younger generation, I inherited all these Legos. I got, my parents gave me all these sets when I was a kid, and they kept them in boxes. Like I never did. But oh, my dad had all these sets. So even the younger generation, these were my first Lego memories when I was 10 years old. And I said, you're 20 years younger than me. Yeah, my dad gave them to me. And he's gone now, but we used to play these things when I was a little 5-year-old or 10-year-old, and he sadly passed away. I'm going, it's such joy when I get that. So that's I would say it's not the separating thing from my mock or my layout compared to everything else, but it's the one thing that my mock seems to inspire in a lot of people at my age and younger and older, the nostalgia factor of that era of being a child, Christmas. In the early 80s and whatever. One of the people who worked at the hotel came over. It's a lady. And that's what I also like about the classic space, Lego in general, is the tracking. And it's finally, thank God, opening up to women. Should have been from the beginning. But she comes over and she goes, oh, and she starts explaining the sets that she had when she was a little girl. And going, this shouldn't be a surprise to me that girls got classic space sets when they were younger. Oh, do you know the one with the back end that came off? And I'm going, there's never any 3-digit set where the back end came off. And she goes, oh, no, but it looked like this one, but the back end came off. And the French and English are a little bad between me and her. And she comes back into the picture, and it was a 6890 or a 6980. Oh, yeah, that one. The back end came off. And she goes, I still have the pieces at home. And I'm going, the enthusiasm is contagious. And she goes, I want to put it back together, but I'm missing pieces. And I mentioned Bricklink. Oh, and every time I mention this is a surprise for me, by the way, because every single person that I mentioned, like, oh, I wanted to complete the set. And I said, oh, Bricklink. Oh, yeah, I'm on there. Perfect. Like, I don't have to say this anymore. The Bricklink is a well-known entity out there. I said this repeatedly this weekend. This layout would not be here but for Bricklink, because there's no way I'm ordering 3,000 or collecting enough sets for 3,000 wing plates. But the enthusiasm from women was fantastic for the classic space layout. I've always wanted to be equal, like, across the board since we were kids. Like, my sister and I, we played a lot. Now, she gave it up. That's fine, because that's also going to happen. But there literally is not enough women in this hobby. And it just bothers me immensely that some people shun that. I'm going, are you kidding? Deborah is one of my favorite builders of all time. Janie is one of my favorite builders. You got Jen doing yeoman's work out there to increase the happiness of fans by offering all this third-party stuff. Like, I want more women to be here. Natalie, like, she's one of the most wonderful